I'm not going to go through the entire story here because you can watch, I'll post a link below to the video I made just a few weeks ago. But basically, early October, California's Attorney General, Rob Bonta, he sued a Catholic hospital and he said they denied a woman emergency abortion medical care because, in their view, it violated their religious beliefs. And Bonta said, we have a state law that says if you have an emergency room in your hospital, you have to provide emergency care. Doesn't matter what your rules are about which care you give. Like if someone just went to a Catholic hospital and said, I want an abortion, the Catholic hospitals are allowed to say, sorry, we don't do that here. But in California, if you have an emergency room and that sort of facility, the state law says you got to help people in an emergency. That's the law. And so I talked about the situation that happened there, and I'll give you the update. Let me tell you really quickly what that video was about. The reason California filed the lawsuit is because earlier this year, a woman named Anna Nusslock, she was rushed to Providence St. Joseph Hospital because, long story short, she needed an abortion. It was bad. She was on the verge of dying. And instead of helping her, and even though the doctors there said, yeah, we need to terminate your pregnancy right now to help you because you might die any second otherwise, the hospital would not allow them to perform any procedure, even though the doctor said she needs to have it done. At some point, they said, you can go to a different hospital, but we have to take you in a helicopter and it's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars. She said, no. They said, wait, there's a hospital 20 minutes away. It's just not as good and it doesn't have all the equipment. And she's like, fine, can I just drive there? And they said, yes. And I showed you this a couple weeks ago, according to the lawsuit. When she was driving there, instead of providing the emergency medical care she needed, Providence Hospital offered her a bucket and towels, basically saying, hey, if anything happens to you on the drive to the other hospital, here's a bucket and towels to clean it all up. So, it's not a mess while you're bleeding. So just awful, awful situation all around. And this is the issue. Like, no one should be put in that position. What the Attorney General said at the time is that the next person in Anna's situation will face this agonizing choice of risking a multi-hour drive to another hospital or waiting until they're close enough to death for Providence to intervene. So that was the frustrating thing. And by the way, that smaller hospital that she went to, where she got the care she needed, as of today, literally today, that other hospital has just shut down its ability to do any pregnancy-related care. So what would she have done if this situation happened now instead of 8 months ago when it happened? Scary to think about. Okay, so the hospital their response was, we're looking at the lawsuit. We have nothing to say for now, whatever. So the good news is this is the headline that appeared this week. This is from Cal Matters. Catholic hospital agrees to provide abortions after California sues over miscarriage care. And that is a headline you don't see very often. But here's what basically happened. They didn't call it a settlement, but that is kind of what they both said. California's Attorney General's office said, we'll drop our lawsuit if you do a handful of things. And the hospital said, okay, we will do those handful of things. So here's what the hospital's doing, because this is what's important. They said, if someone comes to our emergency room and the doctors say this patient needs an abortion, then we will allow those doctors to perform the abortion, which is like the right thing to do. But also the Catholic hospital had to be forced into doing the right thing because they would not have done it otherwise. Also, the hospital promises that we will not transfer pregnant patients to another hospital unless doctors here have done everything they can to help her, including abortion care, and that they're pretty sure that by sending the patient to another hospital, that delay will not harm the patient in any way. So that's what they agreed to. Just to show you what the agreement looks like here, Providence Hospital specifically agrees to continue to allow its physicians to terminate a patient's pregnancy And they can use any method they deem appropriate as long as in their professional judgment, there's no other choice but to do that. So that's great news. And then here's the other side here. Providence Hospital says it's not going to transfer a pregnant patient without providing emergency services and care that the patient's treating physicians determine in their professional judgment are medically necessary, including an abortion. So all of that is wonderful, wonderful news, I think. This should not have required a lawsuit. A patient needed emergency care. That care involved an abortion. Abortion is health care. The Catholic hospital refused to do the procedure because they prioritize nearly dead fetuses over live women. They wanted Anna Nusslock, to suffer before they would even consider helping her out. That's their definition of pro-life. And as I said last time, I don't even think this is about abortions. This is about whether Catholic hospitals are in the business of helping people, period. Right? Because they did not want to help this woman who came to their emergency room. And that is scary to think about. And it's also scary because California is one of the bluest states in the country. And if this is what they have to do, they have to file a lawsuit to get a Catholic hospital to do the right thing. What the hell is going to happen when this sort of situation develops in a swing state or a red state? That's scary to think about as well. I mean, this isn't just the result of the Dobbs decision. It's the result of the Catholic Church, which has eaten up so many hospitals and taken over all these hospitals to the point where patients cannot get the care they need because the bishops keep getting in the way. And like Nusslock, I don't know how many patients in an emergency especially have a choice about where they go get healthcare, right? In a medical emergency, no one should have to worry about what the hospital's religious beliefs are. So I don't know. I wish the Catholic Church would just get out of the healthcare business entirely. That's not going to happen, but I'm glad in this situation it worked out. And I wanted to share with you what the Attorney General of California said in response to all this. While Providence St. Joseph should have been complying with state law up to now, thereby avoiding the harm and trauma to Californians they caused, I am pleased that the hospital has agreed to fully comply with the law going forward, ensuring access to life-saving health services, including emergency abortion care. At the California Department of Justice, we believe that abortion care is health care. We will ensure that this right is upheld and will continue to hold accountable those who break the law. Good for them. I'm so glad they pushed this. I want to say it's a happy ending, but there's nothing good about this story. A woman suffered because the Catholic Church was in charge. We've heard that story many times before. And now the Catholic hospital is reluctantly saying, fine, I guess we'll help women in the future in some situations. I don't know that that necessarily makes me feel better. Okay, I will stop there for now. What questions we got here? Oh, thank you, Sean. I appreciate the contribution. That's very generous. Thank you, Sean. I didn't even say trick or treat yet. That is true, Dan. I have not trick or treat, everybody. Give me all of your treats in the form of subscribers and donations. And this is in California. You right on. I beat you to it. Imagine a deep red state. In those deep red states, you're not going to get any health care. So good luck with that. Oh, by the way, while you bring this up, I wanted to say this too. I have heard some people say abortion is on the ballot in certain states. Like Florida has an abortion amendment that is on the ballot, needs 60% of the vote to pass. Some states have abortion rights amendments, laws that they can vote on. That's the wrong way to think about this. The entire country on Tuesday has abortion on the ballot because if Trump wins and Republicans keep the House and take over the Senate, there will be a national abortion ban in blue states too. Your state, if I live in Illinois, very blue state, abortion would be banned here if Republicans took over the federal government. It would be. They would absolutely do that because Trump is going to lie and say he's not going to sign it, but he's lying because lying is what he does. So Abortion's on the ballot everywhere. All of you, seriously. I know all of you are voting, but seriously, get your friends and family to vote. Go with them, drive them if you must, whatever it takes. Go vote as soon as you can. What else we got here? The law is you must provide life-saving and stabilizing care, nor can you abandon care. Yeah, that's the California law for any hospital that has an emergency room facility. And this Catholic church is like, yeah, but what if we didn't? And they got slapped for it, and now they've seen the light. All right. Hospitals shouldn't even be a business. I know. And listen, everyone else in the world knows that. There's no one outside of America that's like, you know what I wish we had in our country? The United States healthcare system. You'll never go to the UK and hear people wishing they were in our shoes for this one. But unfortunately, this is the situation we have. Republicans aren't going to make it better. Democrats are slow, but they can be moved in the right direction on this. And this is why I'm encouraging everybody to vote for Kamala Harris, not because I agree with her, not because she's liberal enough for my tastes, but because by electing more Democrats, you can push for more change. You can get more progressives in office, and we can maybe have nice things in the future one day. If these Catholic churches are going to buy hospitals, they should be taxed heavily. Dude, we've talked about this before. How much property does the Mormon church own? There are articles like the Mormon church owns Nebraska and like large swaths of Florida. Why? Because it's good for their portfolio. It is scary to think about how, and that's before you get into the Catholic Church and how much land they own. Seriously, they're a business more than anything else. Thank you for that donation. What happened to states' rights? You're saying that states like Minnesota or California could not proceed with their laws. What about same-sex marriage? I don't know if you're asking that sincerely or sarcastically, but yeah, all of that. Republicans lie when they talk about we just want to give this back to the states. No, they don't. They want a national abortion ban. They want to undo marriage equality. And if the Supreme Court can do it, they will. And if the legislature can do it and say marriage is between one man and one woman, and then all the qualifiers like one biological man, one biological woman who are not related, like they will do that. And at that point, it won't be a state's issue anymore because there's a federal law superseding it. So again, everything is on the ballot. Go vote. It's seriously, it's dumb not to, because I know Tim Walz says this in his stump speeches, but even if you're not into the government's into you. They're going to affect you whether you like it or not. So it's time for you to pay attention.